The Selkie Child. The legend. There is a story that is told by the people who lived on the rocky shores of the North Island. Some believe it is true, some say that it's just a legend. It tells of the sea people called selkies. The selkies leave the sea to become human for one night and one day. They hide their sealskins among the rocks where they must find them again in order to return to the waves. Some say it happens every 9 times, and sometimes it occurs on Midsummer Eve. Some say that a selkie can be called onto the shores if you whip 7 tears into the sea. All agree that selkie have a haunting beauty. John Wilson and his wife Kate lived a content life in their low house facing the sea. The house crunched against the cliffs, blessed by winter storms and baked by summer suns. John loved the sea and went each day to chase the shoals of fish off the shore in his fishing boat. Kate cleaned the little house and filled the days in mending John's nets or walking among the pebbles and dirt wood. She often stood and gasped over the waves, watching the seals and waiting for John's return at the end of the day. Their life passed quickly, for they had no child, but Kate longed to fill the house with the laughter of sons and daughter, and slowly her heart grew heavy. John felt his wife's sadness. He too wished for a daughter to greet him when he came home to bounce upon his knee. He imagined how when the storms brought wild, cold weather, they would all sit closely by the fire. He would tell her story after seeing to make her eye wide with joy and wonder. He would tell her of mermaids, sea monster, and the beauty blue-eyed seal people. When the sun shone and warm winds came, he would take his daughter along the shore. They would find dirt, wood, pebbles, and treasure from the sea. He would teach her to swim like a seal and take her out fishing in his boats. But as time passed, their home stayed childless. One winter night, a great storm blew up. The sea swirled in a flurry. Strong winds lashed the water. The waves crashed upon the shore. Kate feared they would wash up to the very walls of the low house. When morning came and the wind had died away, John went out to see what the storm had brought. The crisis of gray and white gulls filled the air above the cliffs, blown inland by the gale. Now the sea was calm again, and John gazed along the rocky beach over the glistening gray rocks and pebbles that lined the shore. Dirt wood beach by the salt was turned to silver in the watery sunlight. But there where the pebbles met the waves, John saw something moving, and as he drew closer, he found a small tray lying on a bed of seaweed. "Here is a strange gift from the sea," cried John. As he started in wonder, he was a glossy brown skin nearby, and snatched it up and hid it in his pocket. John went to pick up the child and wrapped her inside his warm coat. As the child looked up at John, she seemed to hold all the mysteries of the sea in her clear crystal blue eyes. Kate, Kate, called John as he made his way back to the low house. See what the storm has left us. That's the child alone amongst the rocks. John and Kate took the child in and named her Morgan, meaning born of the sea. John locked the skin away in out salt trees, tucked it into a dark corner. She said nothing about it too. They both talked and laughed happily with the child each evening and gazed with love into her crystal blue eyes. But thought Morgan's laughter filled the house with joy. No other sound passed her lips. Nobody came to claim the child, nor was any search heard of, so John and Kate kept her as their own daughter and were happy. John sang as he took his boat out fishing each day, and Kate sang as she rocked Morgan on her lap. As the day passed, Morgan seemed content. Kate caught from her lovely, and she grew plump and rosy-cheeked. John told her story of the sea of storms and great waves that swamped the boat of monsters and mermaids, and the legend of the beautiful sea people. Slowly, as the days turned into weeks, Morgan's blue eyes bent more and more towards the sea. They seemed full of longing, and Kate felt her sorrow, laughter, and song left the low house by the sea in the evening. As the sun was skinning, the harsh cries of the gull joined the calls of the seals along the shoreline. Kate heart grew heavy once more. One day while Morgan slept, Kate walked with John along the shore. The sea seemed to be watching them. For a time they both stood silently gazing out to sleep. Then Kate bent to touch the place where Morgan had been found among the pebbles. John, I feel that Morgan is no mortal child, she told him. What else did you see on the shore when you found her? There was nothing under the child, he ripped and left quickly to go fishing. As the day launched into spring, Kate busied herself with short clothes. Morgan grew listless and pulled only. When she heard the calls of the sails, did Morgan fading blue eyes grew crystal bright again. One morning, while John was away at sea, the sunlight shone into the house, and its beams caught an old dusty chest tucked away in a corner. What old treasure have we kept in here? Wondered Kate. She was puzzled when she found it locked, so taking up a strong knife, Kate twisted it up and was amazed to hear Morgan's laughter bubbling up with delight behind her. There at the bottom of the chest, tucked underneath old blankets and worn shoes, was a glossy seal skin. Kate then knew that what she had feared was true. Morgan was a silky child. At once, she gathered up the child in her arms and, taking the seal skin with her, quickly picked her way through the rocks and driftwood down to the sea. The seal that gathered up the shore, floating silently in the swell of the waves, watching Kate, kissed the child fondly as she wrapped her in the skin. Then, without a pause, she gently placed Morgan into the shallows. Kate stayed on the shores at the sun moved across the sea. She saw Morgan swim away without a backward glance. She watched the seals greet the silky child and thought she saw them swirling and turning in the sea as if rejoicing in the child's return. In her grief, 7 teardrops fell from her eyes and splashed into the water. Then she turned for home. The Silky King watched Kate and saw her kindness. He was Morgan's true father and understood the sorrow of losing a child. 7 tears for 7